What's good, family? So mash the like button and subscribe. So we just heard there from Dillian, the body snatcher, White, going off on Andy. Oh, must be my movement, my company. Andy Margin Boo Ruiz, smoking him up about his upcoming fight with Chris Bumiola. He said the following. This right here is a strategic comeback fight. It's a fight that's going to make Andy Margin Boo looking ass, look good. Make him look like, oh yeah, he's this, he's that. But on paper, it's not. If you run it, on paper, it's not. Because Chris Bumiola is shot to bits. Chris Bumiola has been shot for a few years still. If he was fighting Chris Bumiola a few years ago, people would be like, no, that's a garbage fight. Now it's the same, if not worse. Ariola was a decent fighter in his heyday, but he's been retired for 2 years since losing to Adam Kalinowski. It's a good strategic move for Andy Margin Boo's team. Him coming back, and he'll bash Ariola all over the ring. People will say, Andy Ruiz, yeah, he's back, he's big, he's bubbly, he's back. Yeah, and yeah, he's motivated, and yeah, he looks so good. But let's call a spade a spade. It's Chris Ariola he's fighting. Typical joke fight from the fake Mexican. Wow! How's he? Wow, Dillian going off on Margin Boo. But listen, I spoke to Dillian the other day and he said, YB, listen, if the truth be known, I'm at the exploding point now. I've just avenged myself. I've just pushed Pulev's wig off for him. And now I find myself in the same position I've been in for damn near 4 or 5 years now, innit? YB, what position is Dillian talking about? Well, I asked him to expand. He said, YB, listen. Yes, in a way, the Povetkin fight was bad news, but really, it gave me something to fight for. Because for the last X amount of years, I haven't really been fighting for anything of any value. He said, the reason I was so vicious in the Povetkin fight, which was against many people's advices, most people thought, you know what, Pulev, you know what, Dillian, take the AJ route, don't take no risk, and just be safe. Just get through it, just get the win. But Dillian said, no, I'm not down for that. And the reason he was so smoky is because he had something to fight for. Whereas the last few years, he's had nothing really to fight for. That's there. Let's call a spade a spade. Which fight? It's been years since Dillian had a really crucial fight. Something to really fight for. He's just been ticking over, waiting for that WBC shot. So he's gagging for it. And now he sees people like Andy Ruiz coming along, fighting a bum. But Andy Ruiz loves it. Dillian Whyte, to his credit, has never loved just fighting bums. He's always wanted the better shot and ended up with a sub-tier Don. Even Povetkin was the sub-tier Don. When is Dillian going to get that crack? When is he going to get it? When is he going to get that top-tier crack with one of them man there? Theory, Wilder at the time, or AJ? Well, AJ, listen, take AJ out of it, because AJ already offered him the smoke. He didn't want no smoke. Fury and Wilder, that's what he really wants. He wants to get a belt off them and then go in there and push, or go in there and try and push AJ's wig off. And obviously he'll get memed again, but that's in all there. The point is, that's what Dillian wants. He wants something to fight for. If he goes in there with Theory, he's fighting for something. If he goes in there with Wilder, even though Wilder's half washed, still, you know what I mean? You can get your teeth into that one. He can get his teeth into that one the same way he did Povetkin. And actually, having seen Dillian's Povetkin performance, I'm really confident that it will beat Deontay Wilder. For a little while I was on the fence, but now, seeing how, if he goes in there with that kind of viciousness, Wilder's got no chance. If he goes in there and he's trying to be smart about things, then he'll probably lose. But if he goes in there and he really wants to get stuck in and start digging away, the same, if not, to be honest, he should be more vicious. Fury showed the blueprint. The more vicious you are on Wilder, the better. If you go in there and you just start laying it on thick, putting it all up in the booty hole, Wilder will probably love it, to be fair. He'll back it up on you. That's what will happen. If you stick on Wilder, Wilder will back it up all on you. He loves it. Does Wilder. He loves them ones. He loves it when next man puts it on him. So that's what you got to do. Wilder needs to have it put on him. Yeah, and he'll throw it back. That's what he'll do. If you put it onto Wilder, he'll throw it straight back. 100% confirmed. Look at Fury, for example. Put it this way. For all the men out there telling me, oh, YB, what are you talking about? Wilder doesn't throw it back. Wilder's a man's man. Wilder never throws his booty back. If that was the case, what happened when Fury stuck it on him? Did Wilder fight back? Did he? Yes or no? No, he didn't. Wilder didn't do no fighting back. He loved it. He backed it up. He joined in. Yeah? He spread his own cheeks and allowed Fury run all over him. Yeah, Fury was running all kind of trains on him. And he didn't fight back, did he? And if you think I'm lying, yeah? If you think I'm lying, show me the timestamp where Wilder dug deep and started slinging leather back. Show me it. When it was evident he was getting whooped, show me where he dug deep and just tried to, you know what I mean, give it a good go. He didn't. He threw it back. Instead, he was happy to get his back blown out. That's the truth of it. He was resigned to having his back beat up. Yeah? Fury was giving him the beats from the back, and he liked it. That's as simple as that. If he didn't, he'd have tucked his chin in and give it a good few swings over. It's not like Wilder doesn't like being wild. He's already wild. But even then, when it came to it, he submitted. He submitted to the Fury. To Fury. Fury made him submit. 100%. No doubt. He was dominated by Fury, and that is the end of that. And he liked it. Dillian don't get dominated by no one. Don't get me wrong. He can get caught. He can get tripped. He can get rendered unconscious. That said, he don't submit, which is what's important. When you're put unconscious, that's not your fault. Yeah? Unconscious is unconscious. You can't... That's not a choice. Dillian didn't choose to go limp. Dillian didn't choose to audition for Limp Bizkit. Did he? And what he did prove is, to his credit, Dillian showed all-time great level viciousness. All-time great level comeback. That is a trait that not many fighters have shown. Bottom line. The ability to lose in devastating fashion and come back with a vengeance. Dillian, to his credit, in the world today, in the boxing world today, no one has done it as well as Dillian. Lost in an awful circumstance, but still found that snare within them to go against the odds and really get stuck in. Really dig deep and just go mad for it. I rate that. And that can get you far in this game. On its own, that kind of belief and whatever else can get you far. Especially in this particular heavyweight crop where there's a whole bag of fake man like Wilder in there. Like Fury in there. People think he's legit, but really, when you look around, and he's not legit. He's not certified. Fury is not certified. He will not fight anyone anywhere. Because if he would, he'd have fought Wilder last year. And closed that chapter in the book. And it's amazing because we find out Fury's still going through the court stuff. Why didn't he just fight him last year? Clearly, it's not just... From what we've heard, or initially my belief was, this court stuff's BS. But now we hear Fury saying, I've spent millions. Why didn't he just do it then? I just don't get that. But the point is, it's what Fury all over. That's the kind of thing Fury does. Same as the Vlad rematch. He got this weird thing, so either way, that shows he's not legit. There's a few legit man in the division. AJ and Dillian. Both of them, man, we know genuinely want to get in there and give it a good go against anyone. Everyone else is fruity. Wilder, fruity as you like. Fury, fruity as you like. Andy Ruiz, let's not forget. People like to say Andy Ruiz is legit, yeah? He tried to be smart. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. AJ versus Fury 2. He was contractually signed up, and Eddie Hearn had to literally take them to court. Eddie Hearn filed in the state of New York. Seriously. So let's not even call Andy Ruiz legit, because he tried to be smart about things. He tried to play fruity games and rob the belts and run away with them. So he ain't legit either. Simple as that. So Dillian, I believe, he's earned the right to talk your ish, man. Talk your ish. Talk your SHIT, bro. That's what I'm saying right now. Because he's earned that right. Going in there, you've just lost, and going in there and digging away, you've earned it. And end of the day, Again, Dillian's found himself in a stressful situation right now. He's in a situation where nobody wants him. Again, he always finds himself in a situation where he's good for no one. Someone like Dillian, yeah, he needs a belt. Because a belt naturally makes people gravitate towards you. They have to. It's the way the universe works. But there's certain cats here that when they don't have a belt, their career sucks. Because they're good for no one. And even now, to be honest, Dillian's got the pay-per-view behind him. Even so, people ain't gravitating towards him. He's always getting these bummy fights like Povetkin or some next guy no one's ever heard of. That you just can't get into that thing because, again, nobody wants him. He's got nothing for anyone of any value. He needs a belt. He really does. He needs just one. To keep him in the mix. Because the minute you get a belt, people have to come looking for you. And it's such a shame. It's such a shame. This is a situation we find ourselves in. Dillian's now resigned to just being vexed all the time because he can't lick his chops. Yeah, you got Joseph Parker fighting Chisora. They're doing their thing. They're probably D level. Dillian in the B level. He wants the opportunity to break in there, but he just can't get it. I mean, Dillian versus Andy Ruiz, that'd be great. But even so, I mean, what's Andy Ruiz good for? Again, even that, I'd love to see the fight. Don't get me wrong, but even that, what apart from a big fight, what is that? For Dillian's point of view, that there is another Povetkin. That there is another, and by the way, you best believe Andy Ruiz is much more dangerous than a million-year-old Povetkin. I wouldn't like that fight for Dillian, but nonetheless, I know he'd take it, and that's what matters. I know he'd take it, and I know he'd get in there and give it a good go as well. That said, it's a tough fight, and it's another one of them who needs that fight. From Dillian's point of view, who wants that? Just like all of the other ones, and I'm getting to the point now. Like, given how Dillian performed, it really inspired me. That performance showed me that performance from Dillian against Povetkin in the rematch, that showed me that the beauty of the sport isn't lost. For a little while, I was getting a bit disheartened, thinking, where are the people? Where are the dons who just you know what I'm saying? They're not bothered about self-preservation. They really just want to get back. Because I remember in the 90s, yeah, well, not even then, but earlier on, people would be interested in getting their get back. They'd get whooped here and want to get their get back. They'd want that, and that's what. When you think about life and Animal Kingdom and whatnot, that's what's in it. That's what you think about. That's how things normally work. You want to get that get back. You want to get yours. It's not about let's do the maths calculation and no. You did me wrong. I'm going to do you even wronger. And a lot of that used to be based years ago. That's how it used to be. People would look to one-up each other. That one-upmanship. It's all gone now. Now it's all about the numbers and sustainability and longevity and whatever else, which is cool for them. Yeah, and obviously, it's good for you, man. But from a fan's point of view, I want to see that. I want to see you get hurt and get up and inflict more damage on your opponent. But having said that, from Dillian's point of view, Andy Ruiz, what's that fight? Who's that good for? Even if you beat Andy Ruiz, yes, your stock goes up massively, because I think Andy Ruiz, in my opinion, really is top 3. I think Andy Ruiz beats Wilder, for sure. And he would beat Fury, but the only reason he wouldn't is if his feet aren't quick enough. Because if Fury turned up to dance, I think Ruiz would get beat. If Fury basically did what AJ did, I think he'd get beat. Unless Ruiz comes in 230 and is just exploding forward like Mike Tyson. That's the only way he'd beat Fury. Unless Fury turns up to fight. If that Fury fought Wilder turns up in the second fight, then Ruiz will be all over him. So yeah, Ruiz for me is just behind AJ, really. I'd love to see the Dillian Whyte fight. To see who's got that second spot. Love to see it. But still, you beat Ruiz and what have you got? You're nowhere closer to anything, are you? If anything, people are turned off you even more because they think, wow, I was thinking of fighting Dillian. After his Povetkin performance, a lot of people would have been like, well, I'll have a go on that in a minute, given how he lost. But if he comes back and beats Ruiz, you think anyone going to want a piece of that? I don't think so. So it just keeps you in this weird thing. I actually think, in a way, best thing for Dillian, lay low and just hang out and fight bums, because it seems to be the only way you get a fight these days. Look at Wilder, look at Fury. What did they do to get their belt? Fight bums. I hate to break it to you, man, but that's the way it's going these days. Fight a bum and people get hard on for you. The minute you step up and actually try and fight people, it just turns them off. People don't want to watch it. Or, the actual fighters with the belts don't want to fight. So yeah, I like what Dillian Whyte's doing here, putting the smoke up there, calling a spade, but I'm just not sure. And that's what he's doing at the moment. Unfortunately, he's forced to be in a situation where he has to just call everyone out and hope something sticks. Wilder, Ruiz, everyone has to get some because no one don't want it. It's a sad, sad situation. You got a talented man like Dillian, and he can't get a proper fight.